What's an immediate red flag when trying to make friends? They hit you up and act all friendly. Make tentative plans. Then immediately ask for something. If you feel like you have to change yourself to get along with them. If one of the first conversation you have with people ends up with them bad-mouthing their other friends, I'd keep my distance, because you know deep down that they will talk like that about you too. Someone who's always sees themselves as the victim even when they're in the wrong. I feel like this might be more of a high school thing, but when I started becoming friends with more popular people and they thought making fun of my old friends or other unpopular friends was a good way to bond. When they talk at you, not with you. When people only talk and hang out with you when they need something from you. They don't ask you any questions about you but will talk about themselves all day long. Mind if I smoke? Then they pull out a meth pipe. If someone only ever talks about themselves, never asks how you're doing, that's a one-way street I have no interest walking down. When you don't like them. I swear people miss this one all the time. Asking to borrow money. Like romantic relationships. People moving too fast. I fell into 2 relationships like this one where the woman called me her best friend. After knowing each other less than a month, and the other a woman asking me to be her bridesmaid after only hanging out together about 5 times. They both turned out to be awful narcissists and were likely using love bombing to earn my friendship. When they keep trying to top you. Oh yeah? Well, I did this. Unprovoked passive aggression. Getting super close really quick is a red flag for me. The last time that happened I was the rebound, and the person only befriended me in spite of their ex-BFF. Someone who always tries to one-up you in experiences. Anyone else reading the comments primarily to see if you could someone else's red flag? When you can clearly hear them rummaging through your bathroom cabinets while talking to themselves for 30 minutes. Which happened this past weekend. That ended the new friendship very quickly. For me, as a gay man, it's when a girl makes a comment about needing a gay best friend, or says something like, "Gay people are so funny," or clearly starts to treat me differently. In a superficial way. When they find out I'm gay. It makes me immediately see them as shallow and I feel like I'm being used as an accessory. Instantly wanna spend time with me 24/7 and gets offended and takes it personally if I can't hang out or simply don't want to. Completely negative and complains. My neighbor's been trying to get to know me and he does nothing but complain about things and people. It's hard to try to get to know them when I bring up any topic or common person and it's nothing but complaints. Someone who constantly talks about how they suffer from so-and-so mental disorder and uses that as their excuse to act the way they do. I am fully supportive of any mental disorder and have full sympathy and support of anyone suffering from mental disorders. This is purely personal experience. Somebody willing to be my friend. Don't have time for those with poor judgment. A one-upper. You don't always need the best story. The worst story, the most anything story. It makes friendships hard cause they don't need to be a constant competition. Overt clinginess from the start. People who gossip or mock people behind their back. It's a very ugly behavior and also likely to spread to you gossiping too if you aren't careful. Gossiping not only means that person probably should talk to you behind your back. It also means they seek drama. Plus gossiping leads to a lot of bad misunderstandings when people start twisting truth for a better gossip story. Avoid people who gossip and your life will be a lot less stressful. If they trash talk their other friends behind their back with you, it doesn't mean that they trust you and want to enhance that you are a better friend. It means they will trash talk you with those friends behind your back too. And probably already have. If the person rants and raves about politics and doesn't discuss anything else, ever, you catch them lying, or changing their story as they tell it from person to person. Always a sign that they are perpetual liars. 1. If they treat everyone else poorly but are very nice to you, it means it's not your turn yet. Don't be fooled by the special treatment. 2. If all they ever do is complain about their life but make little to no effort to change their situation, even if it can be helped. 3. If they gossip about everyone, there's a high chance they've also smack-talked about you in your absence. 4. If they are a compulsive liar, or lie a lot in general. 5. If they prioritize their so over you, like, all the time. 6. If the majority of the time when you make plans to hang out, The time and date is always based on whether they feel like it. This doesn't include serious scenarios like depression, mental breakdowns, etc. I'm talking about hangouts scheduled based only on their comfort and convenience. 7. They don't keep their word. Or if their actions don't match up with what they say. 8. If you tell them something very personal to you and they make you feel bad about it. 9. Okay, but if we want to stay friends, there are some things you cannot say. 10. Yes, I'm salty over a previous friend. Edit. Thank you all for your replies. I'm glad I could give some insight based on my personal experiences. And I'm thankful for your sharing your own perspectives and experiences. I'm learning stuff as well. Some things I should clarify, especially about number 5. In this case, they were just dating. So my friend wasn't married. We were underclassmen in college at the time. So pretty young and still experimenting. It was that months would go by until my friend had time to hang out, which was less than an hour on a Tuesday. Lol. They had just recently gotten in a relationship. And I was really happy for them. It was just that they didn't want to hang out anymore afterwards. Like they would consistently take hours to respond to a text. Or respond within a minute but then take 10 hours to reply to the following text. It was kind of regular. Like I wasn't a priority at all. However, I understand it's much different for an older married couple where the relationship takes priority. And about number 9, it's actually hard to explain without getting deep. But in short, it was a one-time confession based on a foolish decision. Small NSFW warning? I had just discovered what kinks and fetishes were thanks to the internet. And was doing research. Found the good stuff. I then stupidly told them one of my kinks, jokingly. And they had a delayed, explosive reaction to it. Note that up to this point, we were so close, friendship-wise, that we would comfortably and consensually and regularly talk about sex stuff. Casually. It was a pretty innocent thing and I wasn't expecting them to blow up like that. What followed was an entire week of agonizing guilt over my decision. Which was actually when I decided it was time to let them go. I understand I have played a part in our friendship falling apart. But we were young and it was for the better. If they don't make you happy, it's time to let go. If they're constantly talking shit about other people. My friend needed a place to stay when her BF kicked her out. We gave her our place for the weekend while we were out of town. Came back and the house was trashed. She told us that she had as many as 10 people come over. She also had a boy stay over who she said slept on the couch, but it was pretty obvious they slept in our bed. Non-stop talking about their own stories. Someone who is always complaining about something, even if it seems like it's no big deal. Someone who is always shooting down invites, activities and doesn't reach out to invite or share their activities. Someone who tries to make all the plans, all the time, and isn't open to suggestions. Someone who only calls, wants to hang out when all their other friends are busy. Someone who talks down to others. Someone who gets offended if I don't answer the phone. Or reply to a text immediately. When you and they both belong to the same minority group and that singular defining thing is the only thing they want to talk about. I'm transgender and I had a coworker who was also transgender. The only thing she ever wanted to talk to me about was transgender issues. Being transgender. And this transgender group she wanted me to attend with her. I did not go because I had a life outside. Before quarantine happened, once I quit that job, she would message me on Facebook to send me memes about being transgender that she thought were funny. I stopped replying and slowly she did too. The last time she messaged me, she tried once again to talk about being transgender and that was it. It's literally her entire life. I can't change that for her, but if one thing, one interest, or one trait make up a person's whole life, they have a problem. It doesn't matter if it's alcohol, sex, being Christian, being gay, being transgender, liking football, or hell, maybe they like Beanie Babies WAAAAY too much. If a person's entire life is one single revolving door, they have a problem. Who else going through the comments to see how they can improve themselves? If they ask for money when they barely know you. I was lab partners with a woman from Belize before schools closed. Initially, she was very friendly and warm and quickly invited me to visit her hometown in Belize and told me how they would welcome me and my husband and all the things we would go and see. I was thinking, whoa Nelly, we've only known each other a few weeks. But was nonetheless appreciative of her warm and welcoming nature. During our breaks, She'd often try and buy me coffees and share her food with me even though I didn't need it. We switched to Zoom meetings and online work but maintained our lab groups from class. Within the first 2 weeks of online labs she threatened her 6-year-old twice that he was going to get a beating and often marched out of her room screaming at him during our video calls. Then she threatened to beat me with her belt over her knee because I hadn't finished some work that was due a week from then. For the record, I'm a 29-year-old woman. For a multitude of reasons. I ended up getting permission from my professor to finish the labs on my own. Turns out that overly warm vibe has a nasty flip side. When someone says, "We should totally do something later," then never makes an effort to make it happen. They don't take no for an answer or respect your boundaries. That and when they mock you for something you like, enjoy. Them treating you like their personal therapist. It's completely fine to vent and all, but your friends have emotions and issues too. Had a super close friend for 2 years who basically refused to get any help for her self-harm and suicidal thoughts because, why talk to a therapist when I have friends like you? Tried my best to help her but the friendship was overall really bad for my mental health.